Bernard Tomic is an Australian professional tennis player who as of March 31, 2014 is ranked world number 75 by the Association of Tennis Professionals. As a junior, Tomic enjoyed a successful career in which he won 3 Orange Bowl titles and 2 Junior Grand Slam singles titles at the 2008 Australian Open and 2009 US Open respectively. In January 2009, he competed in his first ATP main draw event at the Brisbane International. Highlights of Tomic's career include winning the 2013 Apia International Sydney and a quarter-final appearance at the 2011 Wimbledon Championships. In 2014 Tomic lost in a match against Jarkko Nieminen, which was recorded as the shortest recorded professional tennis match in Open-era history. The match lasted 28 minutes and 20 seconds. Tomic lost in the first round of the 2014 Sony Open Tennis Tournament. Personal life: Tomic was born in Stuttgart, Germany, on October 21, 1992. Tomic's parents, Croatian father John and a Bosnian mother Ad, left Yugoslavia several years before his birth. In an interview, Tomic stated that his parents have a Croatian background. They were both working in Germany when Tomic was born. The family migrated to Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia in 1996 when Tomic was 3 years old. His younger sister, Sarah, is a junior tennis player. His lucky charm is a crucifix, given to him by his Catholic parents. Tomic was educated at Southport State School during his primary school years before taking up a sports scholarship at the Southport School for his high school years. From mid-2011 to March 2012 Tomic dated Gold Coast model Danae Muja. Tomic dated law student Chelsea Grbcic briefly in early 2013. Tomic is a supporter of his local professional rugby league team, the Gold Coast Titans, who compete in the National Rugby League. He supports the Brisbane Lions in the Australian Football League. Junior career: before Tomic began competing on the ITF Junior Tour he stated that he would become the #1 tennis player in the world, win all the Grand Slams and become Australia's youngest Davis Cup player. He also claimed he would achieve these goals by attaining the serve of Goran Ivanisevic, the mind of Pete Sampras, the ground strokes of Roger Federer and the heart of Lleyton Hewitt. In 2004, 2006 and 2007 respectively, Tomic won the 12s, 14s and 16s Orange Bowl titles, one of the most prestigious events on the Junior Tour. Playing his first singles event on the ITF Junior Tour in 2006, he qualified for the Sun Smart 18 and Under Canterbury Championships in New Zealand and went on to win the title, defeating Dai Sung-ho of Korea in the final. His success continued, winning the next 3 tournaments he played in, giving him a 25-match winning streak. Tomic was able to extend this streak to 26 at the Riyadh 21 Junior Tournament in Morocco before falling in the round of 16 to future junior world #1 and ATP Top 80 player Riyadis Berankis. Tomic gained direct acceptance into his first junior Grand Slam at the 2007 Australian Open Junior Boys Tournament at 14 years of age, the youngest player to ever gain direct entry. He came out victorious in round 1 against the 6th seed Jose Roberto Velasco. In the second round he was defeated by Kevin Botti 6-3, 3-6, 6-3. In attendance for the match were Australian tennis greats Tony Roche, John Newcombe and Pat Rafter. In his second junior Grand Slam tournament at the 2007 French Open he made his way through qualifying to reach the main draw where he triumphed in the first round. In the second round he would lose to Riyadis Berankis 6-2, 6-3. Tomic did not win another tournament until August 2007, where he won the Oceania Closed Junior Championships without dropping a set. He was unable to continue his dominance at the Junior US Open, falling in the round of 16 to future top 30 ATP player Jerzy Janowicz. Following the US Open, Tomic picked up a second title in 2007 by winning the G1 in Kentucky. Tomic would then travel to Italy where he compiled an undefeated record in the Junior Davis Cup. He led Australia to winning the Junior Davis Cup final against Argentina with teammates Mark Verith and Alex Sanders. Tomic finished 2007 with a junior world ranking of 23. Tomic began 2008 by winning Notting Hill, an Australian ITF junior event in Melbourne without dropping a set. 2 days later he started his campaign for the Australian Open Juniors title as the 5th seed. Tomic went on to win, defeating the 25th, 11th, 8th and 1st seed before beating 10th seed Sung Hui Yang of Taiwan in the final. His win at the age of 15 made him the youngest winner of the Australian Open Junior Boys Championships in the Open era. 4 months later, at Roland Garros, Tomic, the number 1 seed, fell in the quarter-finals to Guido Pella of Argentina, losing in 2 sets. At Wimbledon, Tomic was again the number 1 seed, but fell in the semi-finals to Henri Contine. In a notable quarter-final match, Tomic played another rising star, Henrique Cunha of Brazil, and came through victorious in 3 sets. Tomic also finished runner-up in the Wimbledon Junior Boys Doubles Championships with fellow Australian junior Matt Reed. At the 2008 US Open, Tomic lost in the first round to qualifier Devin Britton of the United States in 3 sets, who would go on to lose in the final. Tomic returned to junior competition at the 2009 Roland Garros Championships, where he once again reached a quarter-finals in the boys' singles tournament and a month later once again reached the semi-finals at Wimbledon. At the 2009 US Open, however, Tomic won the junior Grand Slam title, defeating Chase Buchanan of the United States. The 2009 US Open was his last junior tournament. Despite winning 2 junior Grand Slams, Tomic's highest junior ranking was number 2 in the world. Junior Grand Slam results: ITF Junior Finals, Singles, 9, Doubles, 2, Professional Career, 2008 Euro 2009. At the age of 15 Tomic began competing in professional events. Tomic began 2008 at the Australian Open, where he was given a place in the qualifying draw. He defeated Yezhou Wang of Chinese Taipei in the first round in 3 sets after saving 5 match points, but lost to Indian Prakash Amrish in the next round. In August, Tomic reached the first professional final of his career at an F2 tournament in Indonesia. He defeated Kittipong Shiramanawan, Xian Yinpeng, Pierre Akiat, Cyriluethni Watana and Kento Takuchi en route to the final without dropping a set before losing to Yaiki Sugata in 3 sets. In December, Tomic competed at a F12 tournament in Australia, where he defeated fellow Australian James O'Brien in the first round before controversially walking off court whilst down a set and 3-1 against Marinko Matosevic in his next match. Towards the end of 2008, Tomic stated that he would no longer compete in junior tournaments and instead focus solely on senior tournaments. In March 2009, the ITF suspended Tomic from playing ITF professional tournaments for a month. In January 2009, Tomic was granted a wildcard into his first ATP event, the Brisbane International, where he lost to Fernando Verdasco in the first round. He also was granted a wildcard into the 2009 Australian Open, drawing Potito Staris in the first round. He won the match after saving 2 set points in the 4th set tiebreak and thus became the youngest ever male tennis player to win a senior Australian Open Grand Slam tournament match. In the second round he lost to Gilles Mar 1/4 layer. Tomic also contested the mixed doubles event with fellow 16-year-old Australian Monica Wedgett, but the pair lost to the Canadian pairing of Alexandra Wozniak and Daniel Nestor in the first round. Tomic received wildcards into Australian Challenger tournaments in Burnie and Melbourne held in February. He reached a quarter-finals in Burnie before winning his first Challenger title in Melbourne. He later received a wildcard into the 2009 French Open but lost to Philipp Kohlschreiber in the first round. Following the defeat, Tomic decided to return to the junior tour to contest the Grand Slam tournaments and reached a quarter-finals of the French Open Junior Tournament. At Wimbledon, Tomic lost in the final round of qualifying to Permildoard Roger Baslin. He contested the junior tournament and reached the semi-finals before losing to the eventual champion, Andrei Kostsev. In September, Tomic won the 2009 US Open Junior Singles title by defeating Chase Buchanan in the final. In December 2009, Tomic lost in the final of the Australian Open wild card playoffs. He finished the year as the world number 286. 2010, Tomic began the 2010 season by competing in the 2010 Brisbane International where he lost in the first round to qualifier Alexander Dolgopolov. Despite losing in the wild-card playoff, Tomic was granted a main draw wildcard for the 2010 Australian Open. He took part in an exhibition match at the AAMI Classic in Kong, Melbourne against then world number 3 Novak Djokovic as won in 3 sets. At the Australian Open, Tomic defeated Guillaume Ruffin in the first round in straight sets before losing to 14th seed Marin Oiea in the second round in 5 sets. In February, Tomic qualified for the Burnie Challenger tournament in Tasmania and went on to win the event by defeating Greg Jones in the final. In March, Tomic was selected to play singles for the Australian Davis Cup team. He won both of his matches in the tie against Chinese Taipei, defeating Yang Tsung-Hui and Li Xinhan. He then competed at the 2010 Tennis Napoli Cup as a wildcard but lost to Paolo Lorenzi in the first round in straight sets. Tomic's next tournament was the 2010 Monte Carlo Rolex Masters where he lost in the first round to the unseeded German Benjamin Becker. He then received a wildcard to compete in the 2010 Zagreb Open but lost to Michael Yanni in the first round. Tomic was awarded a wildcard for the 2010 Wimbledon Championships where he upset 15th seed Andrea Seppi in the first round before losing to Belgian Xavier Malisse in the second round. At the 2010 Wimbledon Championships, Tomic qualified for the main draw but lost in the first round to Mardy Fish. He then entered the qualifying draw of the 2010 US Open but lost in the second round to No Mo Kun. His final ATP event of the year was the 2010 Proton Malaysian Open where he competed as a wildcard. He lost to David Ferrer in the first round. In December 2010, Tomic withdrew from the Australian Open wildcard playoffs. He finished the year at a career-high singles ranking of world number 208. 2011, first Grand Slam quarterfinal. Tomic began his 2011 season at the Brisbane International where he was given a main draw wildcard but lost to Florian Mayer in the first round. At the Medibank International in Sydney, Tomic lost to Ukrainian Alexander Dolgopolov in the first round despite taking the first set. His performance in Sydney earned him the final discretionary wildcard into the main draw of the 2011 Australian Open. In Melbourne, Tomic matched his 2 prior Open performances when he defeated Jarkko Nieminen in the first round. He then recorded back-to-back main draw wins for the first time in his career when he defeated the 31st seed Feliciano Lacube-Pez. In a much-anticipated night match, Tomic lost to world number 1 Rafael Nadal in the third round despite having led 4-0 in the second set. In February, Tomic competed in the 2011 BNP Paribas Open, where he was given a main draw wildcard. In the first round, Tomic defeated Indian qualifier Rohan Bopanna in 3 sets to reach the second round of an ATP Masters 1000 tournament for the first time. He faced 16th-seeded Serbian, Viktor Troicki in the second round where he lost in straight sets. Tomic was granted a main draw wildcard for the Sony Ericsson Open in Miami but lost in the first round to Pablo Andujar. At the French Open he lost in the first round to Carlos Berlocq, in straight sets. At the 2011 Wimbledon Championships, Tomic defeated 28th seed Nikolay Davydenko, Igor Andreev, 5th seed Robin Czar-Delling and Xavier Malisse to reach his first Grand Slam singles quarterfinal, thus becoming the youngest player since Boris Becker in 1986 to reach the quarterfinals at Wimbledon. There, he lost to the eventual champion Novak Djokovic in 4 sets. With this showing, Tomic moved 87 places up in the ATP rankings, to number 71 in the world. At the Rogers Cup, Tomic won his first-round match against Liu Yensun before losing to Jo-Wilfried Tsonga in the second round. He earned direct entry into the US Open, and defeated Michael Yanni before losing to Marin Oiea in the second round. Tomic then returned home to Australia to compete in the 2011 Davis Cup World Group playoffs against Switzerland. He defeated Stanislas Wawrinka in the opening match but lost his second match to world number 3 Roger Federer. Tomic then competed at the 2011 Proton Malaysian Open but lost in the first round to Flavio Cipolla. Tomic's next event was the 2011 Rakuten Japan Open Tennis Championships. He upset the 5th seed, Viktor Troicki, in straight sets in the first round and defeated Japanese wildcard Tatsumo Ito in the second round before losing to 4th seed Mardy Fish in the quarter-finals. Tomic achieved a new career-high singles ranking of world number 49 following the event. He then competed at the 2011 IF Stockholm Open. He defeated qualifier, Jarkko Nieminen in the first round but lost to Gaël Monfils in the second round. Tomic finished the year ranked world number 42. 2012, Tomic began his 2012 season at the Brisbane International. He defeated Julian Benito, Japanese qualifier Tatsumo Ito and Denis Istomin to reach his first ATP semi-final, where he lost in straight sets to world number 4 and eventual champion, Andy Murray. After the Brisbane International, Tomic competed in the AAMI Classic as the 8th seed. He won the event by defeating world number 7 and 2nd seed Tomić Berdych, 5th seed Gaël Monfils and Mardy Fish in the final. In the first round of the 2012 Australian Open, Tomic rallied from 2 sets to love down to defeat Fernando Verdasco in 4 hours and 11 minutes. He defeated Sam Querrey and Alexander Dolgopolov in the next 2 rounds to reach the 4th round for the first time, where he lost to world number 3 Roger Federer in straight sets. Tomic was seeded 8th at the region's Morgan Keegan Championships and the Cellular South Cup in Memphis, but lost to Ivan Dodig in the first round, despite having 2 match points. At the 2012 Delray Beach International Tennis Championships, Tomic was seeded 8th. He reached the quarter-finals but lost to the top seed John Isner. In his next event, the BNP Paribas Open, Tomic suffered a first-round loss to Gilles Ma 1/4 layer. At the 2012 Sony Ericsson Open, Tomic defeated Sergei Stakhovsky before losing to world number 5 David Ferrer in the second round. Tomic began his clay court season at the Monte Carlo Masters, where he advanced to the second round of a clay court event for the first time, defeating Denis Istomin in straight sets before losing to Alexander Dolgopolov in 3 sets. At the Barcelona Open, Tomic defeated Ernest Skulbys before losing to Albert Monte ± a copyright S in the second round. Tomic's next event was the BMW Open, where he reached the quarter-finals of a clay court event for the first time in his career after wins over Olivier Rochus and Potito Staros. He later lost to Feliciano Lacube-Pez. In his first ever match at the Madrid Open, Tomic lost to Raid Gangstrom Tapernek in the first round. At the 2012 Italian Open, Tomic defeated qualifier Santiago Giraldo in the first round before losing to world number 1 and defending champion Novak Djokovic in the second round. Tomic was seeded 25th at the French Open, marking his first appearance as a seeded player in a Grand Slam tournament. He defeated qualifier Andreas Hayder Morer in the first round but lost to Santiago Giraldo in the second round. Tomic began his grass court season at the 2012 Jerry Weber Open, where he retired against wildcard and eventual champion Tommy Haas in the first round whilst down 5-2. Tomic was seeded 4th in his next event, the 2012 Aragon International, but lost in 3 sets to Fabio Fognini in the second round after receiving a first-round bye. At the 2012 Wimbledon Championships, Tomic suffered a first-round 4-set loss to David Goffin. Tomic's losing streak continued after Wimbledon as he lost to Tomić Bilucky in the second round of the 2012 Mercedes Cup after a first-round bye. In his next 2 events, Tomic lost to Benoit registered trademark T-Pair of France in the first round of the 2012 CRA Copyright d'État Agricole Suisse Open GSTAAD and Kari Nishikori in the first round of the 2012 London Olympics. Tomic snapped his 7-match losing streak at the 2012 Rogers Cup, defeating Michael Berger in 3 sets before losing to the eventual champion Novak Djokovic in the second round. The following week, Tomic reached the third round of the Western and Southern Open, defeating Americans Ryan Harrison and Brian Baker en route before losing to the world number 1 and eventual champion, Roger Federer. At the US Open, Tomic progressed to the second round for the second consecutive year after defeating Carlos Berlocq in 4 sets before losing to former world number 1 and 20th seed, Andy Roddick in straight sets. In his first event following the US Open, Tomic advanced to the quarter-finals of the 2012 PTT Thailand Open, defeating Guillermo Garca a la cubed Pez and Dudai Sail en route before losing to the second seed and eventual champion, Richard Gasquet. However, Tomic did not win another match for the rest of the season, losing his opening matches in Tokyo, Shanghai and Basel. He finished the year ranked world number 52. 2013, first ATP title. Tomic began his 2013 season by representing Australia at the Hopman Cup alongside his compatriot Ashley Barty. He won all three of his singles matches against Germany, Serbia and Italy, defeating Tommy Haas, world number 1 Novak Djokovic and Andrea Seppi. Tomic's first official tournament for the year was the Apia International in Sydney. He defeated compatriot Marinko Matosevic, 5th seed Florian Mayer, defending champion Jarkko Nieminen and Andrea Seppi in the semi-finals to reach his first ATP singles final where he defeated Kevin Anderson in 3 sets to win his first career singles title. At the 2013 Australian Open, Tomic defeated Leonardo Mayer and Daniel Brands to reach the third round where he lost to world number 2 Roger Federer in straight sets. This ended Tomic's 10-match winning streak since the start of the season. In his first match since the Australian Open, Tomic suffered a 3-set loss to Grigor Dimitrov in the first round of the ABN AMRO World Tennis Tournament. He rebounded by reaching the quarter-finals of the Open 13, defeating the 8th seed, Martin Clear 3/4 in the first round after saving a match point in the deciding set tiebreak and Somdev Devarman in the second round before losing to 3rd seed, Jo-Wilfried Tsonga in 3 sets. At the Dubai Tennis Championships, Tomic retired from his first round match against Victor Hraflorinescu whilst trailing 3-2. At the BNP Paribas Open, Tomic defeated Tomas Bilucky before losing to 10th seed Richard Gasquet in the second round. The following fortnight, Tomic reached a second round of the Sony Open Tennis, defeating Mark Gickel in the first round before losing to world number 3 and eventual champion Andy Murray in straight sets. Tomic suffered a round 1 defeat in Madrid against Juan Marcube Naco, and missed the Rome Masters the following week. His next tournament was the French Open, where he played against Victor Hraflorinescu in the first round. However, Tomic was forced to retire after having his serve broken at the beginning of the third set, citing a hamstring injury. At the Apia International, Tomic defeated James Ward in the first round, and Julian Benneteau in the second round, but lost in the third to Gilles Simon in straight sets. At Wimbledon, Tomic beat Sam Querrey in 5 tough sets in the first round, James Blake in straight sets in the second, and a big win over 9th-seeded Richard Gasquet in the third. He lost to Thomas Berdych in the 4th round. In July he played in Washington. As a seeded player, he received bye in the first round. After defeating David Goffin in the second round he lost to number 1 seed Juan Martín del Potro, who went on to win the whole tournament. At the Rogers Cup he lost in the first round to Florian Mayer. At the US Open he defeated Albert Ramos in 5 sets before losing to Dan Evans in the second round. 2014, injuries and ranking downfall. Tomic started off his 2014 season attempting to defend his Sydney international crown. However, he was defeated by world number 6 Juan Martín del Potro in the final. His next tournament was the 2014 Australian Open, where he retired in the first round against Rafael Nadal with a groin injury. After undergoing 2 hip surgeries, Tomic returned to play the 2014 Sony Open Tennis, where he lost in the first round against Jarkko Nieminen in 28 minutes, winning just 1 game. This match was the shortest recorded professional tennis match in Open-era history. In the French Open he lost to Richard Gasquet in straight sets, and in Wimbledon he lost to Tomaso Berdych in 4 sets with 2 sets ending in a tiebreaker, 6-4, 6-7, 6-7, 1-6. Which means that he will drop out of top 100 for the first time since early 2011. National representation, Davis Cup. Tomic made his Davis Cup debut for Australia in Melbourne against Chinese Taipei in 2010 at the age of 17, the youngest ever player for Australia. In the first rubber of the tie Tomic would defeat Yang Tsunghui. In the 5th rubber he picked up another victory over Li Xinhan. Tomic was called back into the team in July 2011 for the tie against China. Following a shock loss in the first round, Tomic drew Australia level in the second rubber of the tie against Zhang Zhei. Tomic's reverse singles match was cancelled due to Australia winning the tie 3-1. In September 2011 at the Davis Cup World Group Playoffs, Tomic pulled off the biggest scalp of his Davis Cup career to date by defeating the then 19th-ranked Stanislas Wawrinka in 4 sets. In the reverse rubber, Tomic faced his childhood hero and then world No. 3 Roger Federer, losing in 4 sets. Prior to the commencement of the 2012 ATP season, Tomic and Lleyton Hewitt both committed to the Davis Cup team for all ties in a bid to re-enter the World Group. In the second rubber of the first zonal tie against China, Tomic was victorious against Wu Di. In the second zonal tie of 2012 he recorded 2 straight sets victories and a 5-0 rout of South Korea. In the 2012 Davis Cup World Group Playoffs, Tomic was victorious in his first rubber against Cedric Marcel Stebe in 4 sets but fell to Florian Mayer in straight sets, which would see Australia lose to Germany 3-2 overall. After serving a 1-tie ban, Tomic returned to the Australian Davis Cup team in their zonal semi-final against Uzbekistan. Olympics, Tomic represented Australia at his maiden Olympics in London 2012. He competed in the singles competition against Japan's 15th seed Kari Nishikori in the first round, but fell in 2 straight tie-breaks. Coaching, Tomic was first coached by Gold Coast tennis instructor Neil Guinea at 7.5 years of age. As a child, Tomic was officially coached by his father, John, at Queen's Park Tennis Centre on the Gold Coast. Despite his father never having played tennis, he continues to coach Tomic. In November 2012 it was revealed that Tomic had approached Australian tennis legend Pat Cash to coach him on a full-time basis. Cash declined the offer. Equipment and sponsors. In March 2006 a 13-year-old Tomic signed a 6-figure deal with sports marketing and management giant IMG. Prior to joining the ITF Juniors Tour in 2007, Tomic played with Wilson Rackets but switched ahead when he debuted on the Junior Tour. He currently has a sponsorship deal with Nike and has always worn their apparel throughout his career. At the beginning of the 2012 ATP season, Tomic signed a deal to use Yonex rackets. Controversies. In 2007, Tomic's funding from Tennis Australia was cut due to a lack of effort during a juniors match at the 2007 French Open. Tomic subsequently missed the Wimbledon Juniors tournament. In 2009, the International Tennis Federation suspended Tomic from playing ITF professional tournaments for a month after he walked off court in a game against Marinko Matosevic in a Perth Futures tournament in December 2008. Tomic was ordered to walk off the court by his father, who repeatedly accused officials of not taking action against Matosevic's alleged foot faults. In September 2009, reports began to surface about Tomic's team rejecting an invitational practice session with Lleyton Hewitt during the middle Sunday of Wimbledon. Hewitt's manager David Drysdale stated, "We turned up and saw the Tomics around and we thought, oh, maybe they got our message, and they were there to hit with Lleyton. So I even went over to Bernard's trainer at the time, Rudy, and said, is Bernard here to hit? Rudy knew nothing of it but said, look, Bernard's looking for a practice partner and I think Bernard would like to do it, but then the agent came in and said, no, he's not hitting with Lleyton, Lleyton's not good enough." They were his words, "Lleyton's not good enough," and we just about dropped on the spot. We were pretty dumbfounded. Lleyton just could not believe it, and the more he thought about it, the angrier he got about it. Tomic's team cited Hewitt's different playing style as the reason for turning down the practice offer. He was later seen requesting a practice hit with former world number 1 Juan Carlos Ferrero, but he was subsequently turned down. A few weeks later Tomic revealed that he was forced to turn away the opportunity due to his infection with swine flu. He further denied any approach to Ferrero as an alternative hitting partner, despite the Spanish tennis player's claim. In January 2010 the Australian newspaper reported that Tomic's father had threatened to quit Australia and have him play for Croatia. According to the paper, this threat was made during a heated argument between Tomic's father and the Australian Open Tournament director, Craig Tiley, after Tomic's loss to Marin Oia. During his third-round match at the 2012 Australian Open against Alexander Dolgopolov, He appeared to challenge a call at the midpoint of the first game of the fifth set. Dolgopolov was subsequently distracted and missed the next shot. This point would prove to be crucial as it was the only break of serve in the fifth set. Tomic denied challenging the call during the match and after the completion of the match. While competing at the 2012 Miami Masters, Tomic was overheard making a request to the chair umpire for his father to be ejected from the stands. He was heard saying, "He's annoying. I know he's my father but he's annoying me. I want him to leave but how's that possible?" At the 2012 US Open, he lost to Andy Roddick in the second round. During the match, John McEnroe, who was commentating the match, accused Tomic of tanking. During a post-match press conference, after being questioned about his effort, Tomic lashed out at Australian journalist Will Swanton, stating, "That's how I play. Do you have a problem with that?" Tomic then asked for the journalist's name and warned him, declaring, "I'll remember ya." In January 2012, he was fined by the police on the Gold Coast 3 times in one day. Later that day he also ran from the police and locked himself in his house. In November 2012, Tomic pleaded guilty in court to failing to stop the police in his orange BMW M3 and was fined $750, as well as being put on a 12-month good behavior bond. Tomic accused a police officer of trying to hit him. He was also found guilty of 3 other traffic offences committed in January and was fined a further $1,000. Just a week prior to the court case, Tomic was found fighting with a friend on a penthouse balcony at 5:30 a.m. during his 20th birthday celebration. In December 2012, it was announced by Tennis Australia that Tomic would not be selected for Australia's first Davis Cup tie in early 2013 and they would cut his funding amid growing exasperation over the 20-year-old's effort, attitude and commitment, if not his wayward off-court behaviour. On January 29, 2013, Tomic was caught speeding by police when travelling 78 km/h in a 60 km/h zone while driving his Ferrari on the Gold Coast. Tomic had been placed on a 12-month good behavior bond prior to the incident and is expected to lose his license. In May 2013, Tomic's father and coach, John, attacked his son's hitting partner Tomas Drlet while outside a hotel in Madrid. The attack on Drlet resulted in a broken nose, stitches to a cut above his eye, and bruising to the back of his neck. Drlet later accused Tomic, of striking Bernard the Tomic during a practice session in Monaco. The Association of Tennis Professionals subsequently suspended John Tomic from ATP tournaments indefinitely, and Roland Garros tournament director Gilbert Eisern announced that Tomic would not be granted accreditation to the 2013 French Open. On May 29, 2013, it was announced that Tomic's father, John, can expect the same ban from the 2013 Wimbledon Championships. A Wimbledon spokesman confirmed to Fairfax Media that Tomic is banned from attending the Wimbledon Championships as well, and that will include access to the grounds by ticket too. Tomic is to face court in October 2013 over the assault of Tomas Drlet. In November 2013, Tomic was spotted in the Gold Coast nightlife precinct on several separate occasions over the 2-week period known as Schoolers Week. He was photographed receiving a lap dance from 2 girls while in the Sin City nightclub. The Australian media subsequently labelled Tomic a toolie, the tag given to anyone partying on the Gold Coast during Schoolers Week that is older than the school-leaving age. Asked afterward if he was a toolie, Tomic replied, "No, I'm Bernard the Tomic." On January 14, 2014, Tomic retired hurt against the world number 1, Rafael Nadal, at the end of the first set with a thigh injury and was booed by some members of the crowd. ATP Career Finals, Singles, 2, ATP Challengers and ITF Futures Finals, Singles, 4, Singles Performance Timeline, Key, 1 Tournament. Or reached Final. Semi-Final. Quarterfinal. Round 4, 3, 2, 1. Competed at a round-robin stage. Lost in qualification round. Absent from tournament event. Played in a Davis Cup zonal group or playoff. Won a bronze, silver or gold medal at the Olympics. A downgraded Masters Series/1000 tournament. or a tournament that was not held in a given year. To avoid confusion and double counting, these charts are updated either at the conclusion of a tournament, or when the player's participation in the tournament has ended. Current through the 2014 Australian Open, doubles performance timeline, current through the US Open. Top 10 wins per season, wins over top 10s per season, ATP Tour career earnings, references. External links. Bernard the Tomic at the Association of Tennis Professionals, Bernard Tomic official website, Bernard Tomic profile on Tennis Australia, Bernard Tomic profile on ITF, Bernard the Tomic on Facebook, Bernard the Tomic video on YouTube.